Hey TikTok, I'm just on here wondering if anybody's feeling the same way I'm feeling. I'm from Illinois and I feel like the gas prices and the electric bills and the prices of food is just so overwhelming anymore. Like, I'm wondering if anybody else is feeling like they're drowning and they can't get out. I work overtime and I cannot get above water. I mean, I literally have no gas for next week. It was either that or get a few groceries to get by. I hit my local food pantries. I'm just wondering if anybody else feels like they're drowning. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great day.
Today is my rest day after my slow 10 miles yesterday. But the only thing I can do is get outside, find some fresh air, and pray for peace.
Don't get me wrong, I love being single and I love living alone. It's great, it's fantastic, but fuck, it's expensive. I just spent $600 on brakes on my car, just on the front part of the car, because I couldn't afford all four brakes and axles and rotors and whatever the fuck. And then now I just paid my car payment, which is $500, so I just blew $1,100 in like 3 hours, and it wasn't even like fun, you know? Fuck. Sorry, it's just so overwhelming. Like, you work and 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 you work, and it's just to pay off like your basic necessities. And you can't, like, in this city that I live in, public transport, please. If I were to do public transport, it's like asking to get rate. And I really shouldn't be crying because now I have to go to another work event and now I'm going to be all puffy. I'm just... Living is so expensive. Just keeping yourself alive and floating is so expensive. And what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted is if I were to take public transport here, especially for my job requires a car. I have to have a bunch of shit that I have to lug with me for work. And I can't do that with public transport. I'm venting. Inflation sucks. Just living in America sucks. Living alone sucks. It's great, but it sucks. Because you have to front all the expenses by yourself. I need a husband just so that I can live. So we can split the bills.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel once again. Now, guys, whites are really crying out. Things are really boiling very fast after really voting in for the Donald Trump. They are really crying out for the bad policies are being implemented by the Donald Trump. Others are really crying out for the high cost of living. Others are crying out for the Trump coming with a lot of bills, which is really affecting so many Americans. So in today's video is a combination of videos by whites are really crying out, and also they are now realizing that America is falling and America dream is dead. So I want you guys to continue watching this video until the end. Then I'll come back with more comment. I'm your host, Team Tessie Reaction. If you haven't subscribed, remember to subscribe, like, and also comment. Let's continue watching this video together.
I have to work 40 hours a week just so I can have a place to live. 40 hours a week makes me $2,000 a month, and my rent is $1,660. So I work 40 hours a week so I can have a 2-bedroom apartment and an extra $300 a month. Like, it doesn't cover my phone, internet, food, you know? So not only do I not have any extra money, but Just working makes me so exhausted that I don't have time either. Like, I get off work at 5:30, come home, and I'm just so tired. Anything that I need to do outside of work, I then just push off to like the weekend, and I'm like, I'm just too tired to do this after work. I'll wait until Saturday. So then I end up with so much to do on the weekend that ends up having to be split into 2 days. So I have to do stuff on both Saturday and Sunday. So then I don't get a day off. I don't get a day to relax. I don't get to decompress. So it is really like working 7 days a week.
So I just watched a video of a white woman literally crying about the conditions of the United States, how she has to work 60 hours and she's looking at other countries and they don't even have to work 40 hours, how they can take a train for like pennies on the dollar anywhere they want. Meanwhile, like our country's infrastructure is falling apart. How it feels like there's no support nets. It feels like all the safety nets are dissolving, and she doesn't understand why. And I both hate and love to remind these folks that the reason why the United States is the way it is because of y'all. A lot of you are the descendants of folks, or it might actually be some of the folks, who were more invested in not sharing all of the programs, all of the initiatives that the United States was starting with marginalized people, specifically Black people. Y'all are some of the same folks who would have rather filled in the pools in your neighborhood than share them. Shut down the schools and the libraries rather than share them. That you would rather vote against any forming of these safety nets or any protections for these safety nets rather than share them with marginalized people. Then you look up a generation or two or less later and wonder why you don't have these safety nets to protect you, because you were banking on your whiteness to keep you safe. And a lot of you learned pretty quickly after this election that you don't even have that to keep you safe. That unless your bank account has something like 7 digits in it, that the folks that you were banking on to protect you won't. And that some of the safety nets that maybe your mama or your family had relied upon, like SNAP or Medicaid or Medicare or any of those other basic safety nets, are going to be eradicated by the very people that you voted for. May I suggest, instead of crying, you strap up? The whole bootstrap thing that y'all be telling my people about. Remember that you get what you pay for. For everybody else who's not invested in crying, maybe some suggested reading. The Sum of Us by Heather McGhee. It talks about how equality is not a zero-sum game. This book has torn me up several times that I've read it, but it is essential reading. So for the next few years, might want to be diving in instead of crying on the internet. Just a thought.
There's been a lot of arguments over what this bill has been called. The president wanted to call it the One Big Beautiful Bill because of how many things it does in a single document. Other people have called it the Big Ugly Bill. But I think it should be referred to as the bill, because that's exactly what it's going to do to so many Americans. It's going to make them die slow in front of our very eyes. Millions of people are going to be cut off of Medicaid, which is a different name in every single state. Some of you don't even know that your family members are on Medicaid. In Pennsylvania, it's called medical assistance. In other places, it has other different names, so that way they could pretend that the federal government wasn't helping their citizens. SNAP benefits are going to be gutted for millions of people, which means more people are going to be hungry and desperate. Other things that kept people from having to make tough decisions, very tough decisions, are now going to be ripped from their hands. And why? For austerity. That's what they're going to call it. They're going to call it austerity for poor people, for working people. But for the most ostentatious people, there is no austerity. For people with billionaire foam party yachts, for people who get to wakeboard on their private Hawaiian islands, for everyone on the Epstein list, all of them, they get to live lavish lifestyles because their tax cuts have been locked in. There are so many things in this giant bill that have made sure that so many of us will die slow. But it doesn't matter because Republicans got theirs. Donald Trump is going to sign this bill on the 249th anniversary of Americans' Declaration of Independence from a tyrant. he'll be handed the bill by J.D. Vance, a man who claimed that he was an Ohio hillbilly who has done nothing but destroy the very place that brought him to the dance.
Look, I'm at the point that I don't even care what team anyone's on, because what's happening in our country now needs to be said out loud, because all of us are affected. Now, this country is not collapsing because of one person. It's collapsing because millions of adults have become addicted to outrage, and they've stopped doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'll talk about that in a second. Think about what it looks like. Someone wakes up and they scroll, they get mad, they type something in the comment section, they feel powerful for about 30 seconds, and then nothing changes. Nothing. The bank account, still the same. What about the neighborhood? That's still the same too. The school board, still making decisions that they hate. Nothing moved, except maybe the blood pressure. Does anyone honestly believe that if Trump goes on television and says, hey, I was wrong, or Biden admits, yeah, the auto pen, that their life gets better? That if some senator finally admits he's been stalling, that your finances will recover? Or that winning an argument in a comment section makes us a leader? It doesn't. It makes us all one thing: distracted. Completely, totally, and deliberately distracted. Look at voter ID. We need an ID to buy alcohol, to rent an apartment, and to open a bank account. Simple, right? That's just common sense. Nobody serious can actually dispute that. So why are people spending hours arguing about it online? It needs to get done. Push it through. Move on. Next issue. The country doesn't have time for performative outrage about things that have obvious answers. We here on social media have no influence on it going through the Senate unless we are in the Senate. So voice your opinion and move on to making your life better locally, because that is where it counts most for each of us. And while we're fighting strangers on social media, our bodies are getting weaker, our finances are getting shakier, our kids are in schools being run by people we've never met and probably never even voted for, and our community is being governed by whoever bothered to show up. And right now, that's usually an activist with an agenda and a lot of free time. That's just what happens when good people opt out. Here's a number I want you to sit with. In this very moment, there are over 100,000 vacant precinct seats across this country, empty, unfilled, and waiting for yield. Positions that shape how elections are run in your neighborhood, and often you can go apply and be in a seat within a week. Start making decisions and change what is killing our communities. Right now, they are sitting vacant because nobody came, and not just precinct seats, city council, school boards, and more. So go to your local community or city website and tell me what you find. We have to stop watching everyone else strangle each other online while the structure rots underneath us. The most radical thing anyone can do right now is to boycott the outrage, boycott the doom scrolling, boycott the dopamine hit of being right on the internet when nothing around us is actually getting better. The people who unplug and show up locally, those are the ones that actually change things. We as citizens need to step up and read to gain knowledge, train and eat right to get stronger and healthier, fix our finances, and then just show up. That's our job as citizens. It always has been. That's exactly why I built Take America Back. Not as a movement you watch, but as a structure that you join and use. We got books, courses, and real tools. The second book actually just dropped, by the way. It's titled Financial Freedom: Legal Paths Out of Debt. Because if you're in debt, you're controllable, full stop. The third book's coming next week, Health, Wellness, and Resilience. Because if you're unhealthy, well, you're also controllable. Full stop on that one as well. And controllable citizens can't run a republic for the people, by the people. Remember that? The path forward is not complicated. Get our finances right, get our body right, get our mind right, and then the street, the city, the state, and finally the nations. That's the sequence. No shortcuts and no app. It's just up to us. If you're already doing the work, then Tab is your community anyway. So go to Tab, join tab.us, and check out what we're building and help us build it if you can. We have to do this because the people still in the comment section have already made their own choice. The question is what the rest of us do next, because we either do it ourselves or we let the republic implode. Let's get to work.
I'm so sad. I cannot believe the big, ugly, dead-ass bill was approved in America. Like, I am shocked. I'm shocked that that was approved by people that were voted in to represent Americans. I cannot believe that they just voted to approve ICE to go from being funded $10 billion to $100 billion. You're just like, how could people vote for that? How could people vote for that?
How could people sleep at night? How could they vote for that? I think that I am grieving America. I am grieving the America that I used to know, that used to be heroes, that used to be like the good guy. I mean, they were arrogant, but they weren't evil. And those people that voted to increase funding for ICE from $10 billion to $100 billion, to take healthcare insurance away from 10 million Americans, to take food away from children. They're the bad guys.
This is how it went.
And to the US government, I'm never forgiving you for this. And I'm never gonna trust you ever again, because you just, like that, took away millions of people's income and livelihood. And who does that? So I'm never trusting you ever again with anything.
So I'm starting to give up hope that there's gonna be a Hail Mary moment at the end of this that's gonna save this app.
It's so dumb coming on the internet and crying about an app, but the fact is that this has been a sense of community for me for years now. And it got me through really, really hard times in my life. The pandemic, losing my job, all of that, getting divorced, like all of this crap that's happened to me in the last 5 years since I've been on here. Hours and hours and hours of time I put into creating stuff for this platform. And I'm not the biggest creator on here. Like, I'm not like, I don't have 3 million followers or 10 million followers, but I do have a platform. It's the biggest platform I have, and I worked really, really hard to make it. On top of that, it's been a source of income for me for going on 3 years now. First, it was just a little bit, but then it got to be more. I'm not like rich off of it, but it has significantly helped my income every month. Hi, Halloumi. And it's been consistent enough that like I've been able to rely on it. So like on top of being just sad that I'm losing my creative outlet and my platform, I'm like worried about like what I'm gonna do financially. And I know like I'll figure it out. Like I've had to do that a million times in my life. Like I'm an artist, I've had to figure it out a million times, but it just like, it sucks that I have to, or that any of us have to. It's so unfair. This is so much more than just an app. Like this is really truly a sense of community that there is nowhere else on the internet. And like, yes, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Red Note now, I'm on Lemonade. I don't even know what that is, but I have 13,000 followers on there. I've literally only logged in twice. But I know that none of it's gonna be the same. I know none of it's gonna be the same. So I guess if this goes away, and for those of you that I don't see on the other apps, like wanna say like, thank you to the community that I've had. My little community. I had such a small little corner of TikTok, but it was really beautiful. And I really appreciate all of you guys. All the people that comment on all my videos, even when my views were down and I wasn't getting views, people that would comment, and I always saw you, the same people. I know who you guys all are, and I love you all so much. And I'm so appreciative for the time that we've had. And I can't believe I'm crying like this on the internet. It feels like the pandemic. I haven't done this since then. But it feels like I'm losing like a really good friend. And that sucks.
Y'all want to know one real reason why America's crashing out like crazy right now? Mediocrity don't hit like it used to, baby. See, once upon a time in America, you could be real mid and still thrive. Mediocre effort, boom, you get a house, car, annual vacation, pension, hell, maybe even a boat. You could clock in, coast through the week, grill on Sundays, and still retire with dignity. But that era is dead and gone, baby. And instead of leveling up or adapting, they're mad, they're bitter, and they're not even blaming the billionaires. They blaming you. They have the audacity to blame me. They blaming immigrants, black people, queer folk, anyone they think is taking something that used to be theirs by default. See, they don't want equality. They want comfort. And when mediocrity no longer gets them that comfort, they start rewriting the rules to rig the game again. It ain't about fairness. It's about preserving the lie. The lie that being average should still be enough for them.
Betrayal of the American people. The House just passed their big billionaire bill, and now it's heading to the president's desk. It's an absolutely devastating time to be an American, and it comes one day before Independence Day. Millions of people will lose health coverage. Hospitals will shut their doors forever. SNAP, Medicaid, and disaster relief will be slashed to pieces. Cancer research, public schools, clean energy, they will all be starved of funding. Meanwhile, billionaires and Trump's mega donors rake in your hard-earned money. We cannot, and we will not, let them get away with this. This is the moment of truth. We either rise up together, or we continue to let MAGA Republicans tear our country apart, bit by bit. Today, we need to turn this outrage into action. Educate your friends and family. Donate to nonprofits who will help those affected by this bill. We will overturn this bill when the Democrats retake the House and Senate, but there's plenty of work to do starting today. In whatever way you can, I ask you to join me in defending the rights of our most vulnerable. It will take all of us. That being said, I hope you're able to enjoy this Independence Day with those you love. You deserve it.
I'm a United States American. If I cry, it's because I'm frustrated. It's hard to talk about this without being frustrated. Okay. I felt that it might be a good idea to be prepared just in case the worst happens in the United States, but at this point, I think I even keep moving that line about what is acceptable and what is not for a country's government to do to their people. And I keep moving that line for myself and for what I feel is safe. I have a passport, but I don't know what the fuck to do. My whole life is here. You know, everyone's whole life is here. And my family's here. And I know that if I go, I'm not coming back. The things that are happening to the people living in this country and the things that my country is doing to other countries is inhumane. And I don't want my money to go towards any of that. I don't want to pay taxes here. I want a future. Sorry. I'm just so tired of gaslighting myself into thinking that if I stay here and work hard enough and be good, that I will have a good life. I was told a while back that my viral I'm an American video is quite popular in China to talk about something that they call the kill line for Americans. And that's where we are basically one bad thing away from being homeless. Even if this government goes away and we get some new people, I think that the way my country is set up is to not let us succeed. I think we are intentionally set up to fail. And my whole adult life, I thought something was fucking wrong with me because I couldn't succeed here. I have essentially malnutritioned myself into the point of perimenopause at the age of 35. You're not supposed to live like this for a lot of time. Everyone meet Chippy. My hormones are fucked. My energy is fucked. My emotions obviously are fucked. Although I feel like this is a rational moment to feel like this. I don't feel like a 35-year-old. It isn't right to have to live off of like super processed food and live in a house that has fucking mold in it and like be more and more in debt every fucking day just by existing. And I don't want to have to make this choice for myself. It's not in me to abandon people, and it's not in me to give up on a fight. That's for sure. But when do I get to be selfish and want my own? Sorry for crying. This is embarrassing as shit. When do I get to begin to live my life as a United States citizen? When does that start? I'm 35.
Just like we knew they would. And I just have to take a moment to say I have spent my entire life listening to every single Republican I know in my extended family, in my community, and in my many red state workplaces complain that the national debt would be our undoing. And through gritted teeth, they seemed to lament that we would have to come after entitlement programs if we wanted to save ourselves. Because yes, it is true that Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security make up over half of our federal spending. And even though these programs pay for themselves through a healthy and secure society, the kinds of people who can artificially reduce health and happiness to line items on a budget cannot resist the urge to circle those alleged costs as targets for cuts. Like the clueless and ignorant CEO who thinks he can cut pay and benefits without reducing employee happiness or productivity. These people actually believe that federal revenue won't be harmed by ripping healthcare and food support away from 10 to 15 million workers and consumers. And now here we are after 50 fucking years of listening to them cry about how expensive it is to take care of our citizens. They get their wish and they cut $1 trillion fucking dollars from Medicaid. Also, they can put those entitlement cuts toward the national debt, right? Right? Fuck no. They took $1 trillion worth of food and healthcare from poor people and they borrowed another $2.3 trillion on top of that. And they gave it all to the ultra wealthy through tax cuts. Same wealthy people who over that exact same 50 years of crying saw their income increase by as much as 420%, while the rest of us broke even at best or backslid into poverty at worst. Fact is, across every single facet of life, religion, politics, economics, culture, and crime, the Republican Party you know today is nothing more than the party of debt, poverty, cruelty, and above all else, hypocrisy.
I hope the people in power enjoyed these 250 years of the American Empire. Because clearly at this point, the American Empire is fully within the state of collapse. Like, the system is crumbling and collapsing right before our very eyes. I do feel like it's kind of interesting, though, that they say that the average time that an empire will exist for is 250 years. And then quite literally, once the United States is approaching its 250th birthday, basically, now there's about to be a collapse of this empire. It's like on the dot almost of the 250 years of this being the American Empire. And now it's actually collapsing in a way where it's like we can actually see the collapse because everything that's currently coming out right now is going to make it so that we can no longer live in this current system that we live in. Like something has to collapse and crumble and then a new system has to be rebuilt entirely and it has to be brand new. And so we can make sure that the system doesn't end up the way it currently is right now. I do really think that it's interesting that the American Empire is literally about to be 250 years old and the collapse is very evident. It's very obvious that this is around the time where this whole American Empire and the structure of everything that's going on is about to collapse. Like we're on the verge of that collapse. So I hope the people in power enjoyed those 250 years. Granted, I feel like it's interesting that it's specifically 250 years, but that's besides the point. I just feel like this is clearly the collapse of the American Empire. And somehow we got exactly 250 years. I don't know what that is.
Hello guys, welcome back. I hope you have really watched that full message from the white people breaking down in tears after really realizing that the American dream is dead. The America is falling because the America being falling, this really prophesied by so many people long time ago, but they are regretting for their fault because they went to ballot on emotions, and the time when we just go to ballot, vote with not emotions, because they voted in Donald Trump for the good expectation. They voted in for the maybe punishment to another leader. But now this is the consequences of voting with the emotions. And now things are really boiling up. Things are not really working well for them because they have now realized that the black folks were right. They are now calling the black folk for the help, but they can't fix the mess that these people really brought in. And now the time it has turned for them, because we have just witnessed how Marca people, they are really crying out for the Donald Trump high cost of living and some of the lack of laborers. And also we have also witnessed some of gas fuels going up, and also have seen how prices of 1 liter costing $5 is up, and things are not really working well for the white people. Things are very, very bad in this leadership of the Donald Trump. And when these people really realize that high cost of living, Americans is crying out, and this Donald Trump is sending some billion of money to the Israel, helping to fight Iran. it's so disgusting. It's made those Americans to be very, very harsh with them, and now that's why they are now regretting voting for the Donald Trump. They regret badly. MAGA people, they are the one who really voted in for the Donald Trump, and they sang a lot of songs that time during that moment, praising Donald Trump, because I can say that they expected for the good delivery. They expected a leader to behave like a leader, listening to the ground, how the citizens are really feeling out. But it has now reached a time that Donald Trump is not really listening anybody, but he is going to fight another nations and leaving such kind of things really happening. You have seen how he came out with that bill, with his very, very bad bills policies. This bill was implemented and it was passed out by the House, and this bill really affected so many. It was to go and affect the majority of the Americans, and I can say that in this time moment, whites are the one who are really suffering a lot compared to the black people, because black people, they thought, they knew these things. This man is not good. They knew that this man will really ruin out the America is falling. And I heard a video, somebody maybe in 99, a veteran from it's now 100 years. He's telling us how America is falling, and the person who's really trying to bring America down is the Donald Trump, because number one, Donald Trump is fighting other nations. We have seen this war between Iran and Israel. Donald Trump is entering a war that is not really meant for the America. This war is for the Iran, but he is trying as much as possible to just mantling with that Iran war. And this made American being harsh that this war is not ours. We are going to fighting for them. War that is not ours, and that's why that lady is trying to really crying out how his son is now in Iran, stranded in Iran in military. And we have also seen how the Maka people, the West people, they have been coming out and stop sending their kids to the war, because they believe that this war is not for the America, this war is for the Israel and Iran. But Donald Trump is really trying to end things that is not really happening. And when I'm talking about United States being a superpower, when they ended that war, this war is not only for the Iran or Israel, it's affect the world globally, because you can imagine the Middle East, the supplier of the oils. Now, oils, when you have the scarcity of oil, we expect some of the commodities going up. And that's how those whites are really crying out, because they can't really afford life in America. They want to go and live another countries. And one thing I love them, they are saying that it's their fault, because they are regretting. They are not telling us, they are not maybe blaming for the black folks or whatever. They are blaming themselves. So it's the high time as also the white people to realize that sometimes it's good to listen for your friends, because black people, they voted for this America for 100 years ago. They are not immigrants, they are the US citizens, and being the minority group or whatever in America, it's now the high time they cooperated together to remove this yellow man. And very soon the impeachment motion will be brought against Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has really making America is falling because of his bad policies and whatever. So guys, want to hear your thoughts in the comment section about the high cost of living in America, and also how the life is there, because we saw the prices of the gas goes up, the prices of the fuel goes up. So I want you guys to hear in comment section about this video. And also I want you to really recommend us how, when you just go to ballot, will you vote with the emotions, or just go freely voting with the person you believe in him? So guys, I want you just to hear your thoughts in comment section about this video. I'm your host, Team Tessie Reaction, and kindly remember to give this video a thumbs up, and all full credit goes to original creators of this video. Bye for now. See you in the next video.